Who's ready for some Akashic Records guidance? Welcome everyone. If you're new to my channel, I'm Anika Ray. I'm a spiritual intuitive who specializes in soul level guidance. That includes the Akashic Records, which is why we are here to offer you some Akashic Records or soul level guidance for your life, for your path, for your purposes, wherever you are as a spiritual seeker and light worker. And if you're not familiar with the Akashic Records, they are this infinite library of the soul. They really connect to us on a soul level through the soul level wisdom they offer, spiritual healing and love and light that exists within the records, as well as that cosmic wisdom. Now, I do want full transparency here. I am in my own records, and because we are related in consciousness, this should work for all of us. And we really work best with questions in the records. So we're going to go with the general message first, which is really how we settle into the records. We open the space, and then we're going to dive into the questions. And the topic today, we're going to jump to this month into a transformation and transmutation series. I kind of like to focus us into a direction each month. Last month we did relationships, and this is a non-linear reading. That means whenever you find it, it is going to be right for you. Take what resonates, leave the rest for someone else. We're going to jump right in. The first thing that I'm getting from the records is not to be afraid of the transformation. Sometimes the transformation implies this word of change within the vibration, right? It is sort of insinuating change, and that you're going to go through changes, and that it needs to be scary and deep and painful. But the records are saying sometimes the transformation is very invisible, right, to us, or very subtle vibrations. And so welcome to transformation that you're meant to have. Sometimes these transformational cycles may indeed bring out the past lives, the ancestral patterns, the things you've been working on as soul lessons for a long time, and it feels very strenuous and almost like what we call in humanity and in New Age community, dark night of the soul. But open yourself up to the transformation does not mean drama, right? Open yourself up to what is available to you at this particular time, and honor where you are in your life and what you're ready for. Not everybody's ready to change, transform, or go into the direction of deep spiritual growth. Sometimes these cycles are a lot of growth, and then sort of feels like nothing is happening. And again, a lot of growth, and then nothing is happening. Allow your soul to really guide you. And when I say soul, I mean the consciousness and light within you. It's that innate feeling that I got to go into this direction, or I have to stay here, right? And for a lot of you, that may mean movement in a physical way. This has been coming out in readings. So movement as in travel, or literally physical movement, or even body movement. You're drawn to sort of moving the energy, transforming it, transmuting it through like movement. Healing is movement as well. This could be dance, this could be art, this could be creative, anything. But you're moving the energy, and therefore you're transforming. Transformation, again, can be not only personal transformation, like you're going to walk out of the door and look different, right? Sometimes that's necessary, not to make light of that, right? Sometimes we do transform. We go through, transformation in our bodies. We go through transformations in our emotional self. We grow. We are a different person, right? But sometimes it's, as they're mentioning, it's very subtle, and it's an energetic shift. And a lot of you have done a lot of spiritual growth, and some of you are kind of stuck in this one place where you feel like, I don't know where to go. And the records are really saying you don't have to go anywhere. Sometimes it is about inertia, it is about stillness, and it is about staying in one place and integrating. Just because you're not doing anything doesn't mean you're not growing or transforming or transmuting. Sometimes the appropriate action is in action and integration. Take a deep breath. It's okay, right? And some of you will go through deeper transformation. As I mentioned, movement is anticipating in this year of the fire horse. Not to bring the astrology into that, but there's the energy behind that drives this transformation energy. And so if you're meant to make big breakthroughs, honor that. Generally, what it feels like to me, half of you are going to be in the space where you're integrating, and half of you are going into this place of doing, right? Being and doing. And so, it's best to find that balance, the records are saying, but honor where you are in your cycles of transformation. Woo, that was a powerful message. How about that? So let's go into questions. I have these questions that are inspired by my own spiritual journey, and then also working with clients. I've been reading the records for over, it's been like 14 years now. It's been a wild ride, a very rewarding. And if you're interested in Akashic Records readings, they're very powerful. It is not a one-time reading, but the reading itself can open the doors to you. So it's a soul level reading, and the links will be in the description following this video, right? You can look that up. I also teach classes around the Akashic Records, how to access them, read them, how to go deeper into the records. All of these links will be in the description. And so if you're going with me into the questions, let's dive in. This is really more about embracing transformation. It aligns right away with our message, right? The general message. And the first question is, what does transformation truly mean for my soul right now? What type of transformation am I called to experience? So this is sort of like a question 1A and 1B. What does transformation truly mean for my soul right now? Again, this is a general reading, so let's just dive into the biggest point here. And the soul really is driven, and this is what the records are pointing out, and the guides in the records, that this transformation is both linear and non-linear. That means things are happening energetically on the levels of consciousness, and then like physically in your reality as a human. So what you're really called for is this ascended state, a state of being that you have experienced in other lifetimes that you want to relive, but this time in your human body. A lot of you may have been monks, spiritual workers, spiritual light workers, high priestesses in other lifetimes. This is not individual records. I'm just picking up on a group collective message from my masters, teachers, and loved ones, which is the guides, right? And it applies to you. We've been in this together, right? They're saying mystery schools, monks, like you have had vows to experience spiritual path and ascension. You've experienced it in a spiritual way. A lot of you, as I'm saying, in this isolated space, following different spiritual teachings or spiritual teachers, or you are a teacher yourself. So now in this lifetime, it is time for you to experience this ascension in human body as person, regular, ordinary person, with all of the flaws, all of the things that happen to us as people. And this is the beauty and the challenge. And that's what the records are bringing up. This challenge is because you have so many things to overcome in the matrix in everyday life, which you can look at as challenges, or you can look at them as challenges, right? Like as a positive thing. Like, how can I get out of the comfort zone? How can I look at these challenges in a different way? What you're really called to do is the type of transformation where you bring in spiritual awareness, discernment, and wisdom into your everyday life. So you live in a conscious life. Now, I know this has been mentioned before, and they're saying many light workers and spiritual teachers out there talk about this. They want to acknowledge that this is a wide open discussion, right? And you may feel like this has been overused. This is something I've heard before. What do I do with this? It doesn't make sense, but it'll make sense to you on a soul level. You're here for the ascension. You're here to experience it as an ordinary person. How you do this, how far you go with this, there is no passing or failing grade. And that's what they want to remind you of. It's enough for you to remember who you are, right? You are an energy, your consciousness, your soul. You go beyond this physical existence. You're multidimensional. You have connection to source, spirit, universe, all there is, your co-creative being. All of these statements are not statements of some idealistic thing out there or very woo-woo and spiritual. They're actually spiritually grounded into this reality. And there were points of light, right? Spiritual teachers, and you may have been one of them, that have walked that path. But walking this path in an ancient time or even in the past is different than today, with all the technology, all the challenges and intricacies, they're saying, of the matrix in the regular world. So they want you to really be walking with spiritual awareness. If you can be awakened, aware, and discerning, right? Bringing that spiritual wisdom, however you get it, from wherever you get it, your guides, psychedelics, whatever it is. I'm not promoting one way, and neither are the records, right? Whatever the opening to the higher awareness is, breath work for all we know, right? Reiki for all we know, right? Different approaches to spiritual awakening, different ways of spiritual practices can get you there. But that's the transformation that you're called for, and it's going to bring out a lot of emotional healing, a lot of ancestral healing, a lot of past life integrations, a lot of light codes into the world, raising the vibration of the planet. Can you feel this energy? I'm buzzing from this Akashic Records guidance from this first question. It was awesome. So I hope that helped you. Now we're going to move into question number 2. What patterns or beliefs are ready to evolve? Ooh, that's a big one, right? Well, the first one, and it's a big one, and it's very spiritual, is survival consciousness. Where are you struggling? Where are you surviving? Where are you living within limitations? And these limitations are normal as a human, but you can move them energetically. That means you can look at them in an energetic way somehow, right? Through consciousness, through higher ascended view. The records certainly offer you this guidance, but you can go through your guides, angels, archangels, your own intuition, your higher self, to really process this. Where are you struggling? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it what part of your life is out of alignment? That's where your limited beliefs are. And they are really tied into the survival consciousness and you feeling unworthy or less than, or in a different way, like an imposter. This imposter syndrome has come out in almost every Akashic Collective reading that I've done through my records, and I don't know that resonates with you. Also, not belonging on the planet. Let's get that out of the way. You do belong. You're here. Because you're in a body, you acknowledge that you are here for a reason. The moment you say, and your soul says, I'm ready to come back into the body, you're here, you're present. Ground, be in your body, accept that you're human. It's hard, it's challenging. Nobody's saying it's not. I mean, it's not, this is coming from the records, guys. I'm just channeling so that you know. This is a fight, but it's also can be a journey. Do you want to fight or do you want a journey? Those are two different realities. This fighting thing, no longer supportive to you. You know, the struggle, that doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges, but how you approach these challenges is different this time around. Do you want to approach it with anger, resentment, guilt, shame, or do you want to approach it with love, appreciation, understanding, looking at it as a soul lesson? That's the biggest pattern. It's a shift of paradigm. We're no longer in the old paradigm. We don't have to walk around with grievances and resentment towards ourselves or others. It's time for us to live in the light. And this is what's coming from the records. Again, I can feel this beautiful energy coming through, and I hope that you can. Again, once when you sort of shift that and you set that intention to say, I no longer want to live in a survival consciousness. I know I struggle. I know I'm only human. I'm as flawed as I'm perfect, right? But I also want to help my human self. I'm going to bring the spiritual awareness into how I look at these challenges, and I'm going to bring the wisdom into how I approach life. That is the biggest shift here, and it's a beautiful way of embracing transformation. The number 3 question is, how can I embrace change without resistance? Oh, wow, this just ties into the second question, doesn't it? What can support me? The resistance. Well, first of all, they want to acknowledge that resistance is a normal human reaction. What is resistance? Resistance is fear. right? Resistance is, I don't feel like I don't feel I can do this. It's too hard. I'm going to resist it because it's serving me. It's protecting me. Because if I really have to go there and face myself and others, it's going to be painful. So the biggest thing is fear, and it's driving this resistance. But it has been protecting you. It has been keeping you in survival so that you really don't look at your own light and a different way of living. Because if you actually go back to a different way of living, you're going to stand out in this matrix, in this reality. And guess what? You're meant to stand out. You're meant to be different than others. You're meant to be leaders. And I don't mean leaders like you're going to step into a leadership role. I mean reference points. You are different. And you're meant to stand out. And this is new. And a lot of humans are scared. And don't worry, we're all scared and it's okay. Fear is communicating and fueling resistance. Also, am I good enough to really do this? Who am I? Right? Am I really a divine being? What does that really mean? Because the records are pointing out this has been misused in the past. This whole spiritual ego is real. It has been misused in the past. There were high priests, priestesses, authority figures, people in a position of spiritual authority and authority figure figures, that have stood there and basically used it for abuse of power and control. But you're not like that. And if you take on your own spiritual authority, it doesn't mean you're betraying your tribe, humanity, or your ancestral knowledge. It just means you're embracing a new path, a new way that is actually the old way, the way of way back when, where the ancients were, right? Where you walk the path in mystery school maybe, but you don't remember it now because this was so long ago in a linear sense. In a quantum way as a soul, this was just yesterday. But now that you remember that, can you embrace that this path, this road, this journey, this life is unique? Every lifetime is unique, but can you embrace it now? And this resistance, whatever it is, driven by fear, talk to it so that you can literally say to the resistance, I know I'm scared. I know that I fear this new way of living, new way of thinking, new way of being, but I want to put down my sword. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to approach life with reverence and love. And it's not being oblivious to how we're living. It doesn't mean, again, this is not a utopian idea. This is about walking life, engaging with life force with spiritual awareness and discernment. And don't worry if you think, where do I need to go and learn this? You already know this. You have everything within you to remove this resistance because you know. And what you're afraid is your own knowledge and light. You don't have to know all the answers. The light codes are already within you. You're not meant to be all spiritual teachers, and this is not who they're talking to. They're talking to just you, the soul's essence. You remember who you are on a soul level. Now, they want you to really accept that. When you accept that there is a piece of divinity within you, not in an egoic way, but in a loving spiritual way, that you are supported, guided, and that the resistance that you have is really there because you're fearing yourself, who you are as a being of the universe, as a being, as a divine being, your own inner power, your own inner knowledge, not as an ego, as spirit, soul, divine. This is who you are. And so if we had to ground this, right, if we're going to ground this into reality and into everyday life, resistance will show where there are fears. But the thing is, if you have the passion and the drive, then you will have to talk to the resistance and say, hey, listen, you've served me. I love you. I'm sending you to the light, but I'm no longer afraid. I'm going to walk this path anyway. I'm going to go down that direction anyway. Does that mean maybe you're drawn to a specific thing in your life that you want to do? Is it a part of your path? Well, if you're drawn to it, there's something there for you. This could be new career path, new job, finding your purpose, opening up to your gifts. For some of you, it's the way you live. It's where you live, your lifestyle, how you want to live that is different than many other people. And you're supposed to be a reference point. You're not meant to blend in. You're meant to stand out. So show us who you are as a soul, as spirit, your light codes, your vibration. There's going to be like-minded people around you, so don't worry about being alone. And if you are one of those that needs to be alone, again, don't worry, because there are going to be people like you that need to be alone. So honor who you are, embrace that, talk to the resistance. For some of you, this is about really aligning with not only your path, but other people, stepping into higher partnerships. And that could be scary, right? Maybe your marriage, where you are, relationship is no longer working and you desire a higher level of commitment, and that's not happening. So all this resistance to what you truly want, who you truly are, authenticity, 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 is talk to it and really step into that. Be who you are, be you. That's what is required. That's what's enough. That is the requirement for transformation, my friend. And this is where they want to leave you. So it's been an honor and pleasure for me to do this Akashic Records guidance for you. I hope that you have got some value. If you really enjoyed this, I really want to honor you. I want to say thank you for following me. Thank you for listening. I hope that you can like and subscribe if this resonates, because it helps us to come out and touch more people, create more content. This is what it's all about, right? And I'm deeply honored, again, to serve you and to serve consciousness and humanity and Akashic Records. And I'm leaving you with this love and light from the Akasha. And I will see you in the next video. Bye now, friend.